honey. Yes, honey. Shout out to the House of Ebony in Nashville, honey. I just want to share a couple things with y'all, honey. The house is not only making waves in Ballroom and putting Nashville on the map because, honey, I done told y'all about plenty balls that happened down in Tennessee, honey. But let me let the article run for y'all. Let me let y'all hear it.
Ballroom, we're talking voguing, not waltzing, has historically been an underground scene pioneered by Black and brown, queer, and trans youth. It's entered the pop culture spotlight through films like Paris is Burning and TV series like Pose and Legendary. But few people are aware that there's a ballroom scene growing right here in Nashville, thanks to the local chapter of the legendary House of Ebony. They've put on smaller balls in the city, and the one they're bringing to the National Museum of African American Music on Friday will be their biggest display to date. Senior music writer Julie Height talked with the people making it happen.
My name is Steve Townsend, but I'm better known as legendary Father Scooter Ebony. I am legendary for the category of realness and also for being a pioneer of the Tennessee ballroom scene.
Townsend got in young. He was a 13-year-old Chicago kid when he first checked out a ball with his boyfriend, and 17 when he joined the House of Ebony and walked in the schoolboy realness category.
Realness is about blending in with heteronormative society, essentially. Whether it's a schoolboy, an executive, whether you're pretty or whether you're a thug, it's that you can still portray these things, and even though you're a homosexual male.
At the National Museum of African American Music's Message Ball, realness will be a category.
Realness is based off the hip-hop category. No matter the gender breakdown, whether you're male figure or female figure, they have to spit 16 bars over their favorite rap song.
All the categories Townsend came up with correspond with galleries in the museum. Best dressed? That's a chance for people to walk in their Sunday best, fit for the church choir. Sarah Calise is a Vanderbilt Library curator and queer history researcher.
There's not a lot in general that I'm able to point to about Nashville's Black queer history. In terms of Black gay bars, Black gay spaces pre-1990s, they're so little known. So a lot of Black queer people were meeting up in apartments, doing house parties. They were hanging out together in private spaces.
It was Calise who connected the House of Ebony with Noel Taylor, head of exhibitions at NAMAM. Taylor wanted to put on a ball during Pride and Black Music Month, right in the window-lined lobby for all of downtown Nashville to see.
So I imagine, like in my head, as soon as you hit this gray space, like this is where the stage will start. The runway, go through here, just keep going on. That's a long way for them to walk and dance. We'll probably stop about here, so the stage will come out this way.
The judges will be seated right in front of it. That will not include Taylor or any other museum staffers because they're not qualified.
It can get real brutal when somebody does not know ballroom culture and they, are given tens.
Calise has searched for accounts of earlier generations holding local gatherings like this.
Finding ball culture, which is already marginalized within a marginalized group, it almost feels like a very impossible history to find. But it very well could exist, and I just haven't talked to the right person.
Townsend has oral histories of the broader underground ballroom scene.
Originally, it was starting in New York. Homeless teens and youth who were LGBT, parents kicked them out, were shunned and unaccepted. They found their chosen family.
He was still with his biological family.
But even with that being so, I didn't have a sense of comfort because I was the only gay kid. And going to schools in predominantly Black neighborhoods where being homosexual wasn't accepted, I never really had an opportunity to be free, be creative, in a sense that made me feel comfortable. So it was a safe space, but at the same time, that competition drove you to be better than the next house. And that is your family, that's your unit, that's your sorority and fraternity partnership that you go to bat for, that you stand up for at all costs.
Townsend saw none of that when he moved to Nashville several years back, so he co-founded a local chapter of the House of Ebony in 2021.
My focus not only switched to how do I make my chapter great, but how do I get other houses to come here? How do I get the ballroom scene to recognize us as a new ballroom city that has active participants that are winning trophies? How do I build our community?
As a house father, he's not just teaching new members what ballroom takes, but what it's given their community and all of pop culture.
It takes nerve to walk a ball, to have 12 to 13 random people judge you and say, hey, you're not beautiful, or you're not up to a standard. And then to come back out week after week and say, I want to keep going until I make you see me. That's our reality in the world as it is. You go through life having to make people see you for who you are, see what your potential is.
Taylor sees it. She's planning programming that will show what Black queer genius has contributed to all of the performing traditions spotlighted in the museum.
If we don't have the influence of queer artists on gospel music, what changes in Wade in the Water? If we don't have the influence of queer artists in blues, what changes in Crossroads? How does that narrative change? You have to acknowledge what the root is and where it's coming from. And just being able to say, man, thank you for what you've given us.
For WPLN, I'm Julie Height.
Work it. Work it. Work it. Do. Work it. I want to give a shout out to the House of Ebony, and I want to give a shout out to Scooter Ebony, to the Nashville, to the Tennessee Ebonies. Yes, honey, yes. Thank y'all for continuing ballroom, and thank y'all for spreading ballroom culture, honey. Yes. I love to see it. We love to see it, honey. You know we get into the Tennessee scene over here, honey, when we do our reviews, honey. We see what the girls be doing out in Tennessee.